Hello, my name is James Tierney, and I am the CEO and founder of Tierney Education. We are an education company located in State College, Pennsylvania, where Penn State University is located. Today, I want to go over our updated course organizer. This is a tool that my academic coaching director, Kim Tierney, and I worked on for the last couple of weeks. We've had a course organizer since we started in 2021, but this one takes all of the great resources that we've been creating over the last couple of years and putting it into one Google Sheet. This video is for potential clients, for our coaches to learn exactly what we added to this year's course organizer. And it'll also be available for anyone to use and download to help them navigate the extremely confusing world of higher education. So let's go ahead and go through each one of these tabs. The first tab is just your course information. What we'll do is we will put the name of each course where it says course 1, course 2, course 3, all the way down to 7 courses. If you're taking more than 7 courses a semester, then we'll be able to update this file. But also, congratulations to you. That is a lot of work. We have it coded in that if you change the main course info page, it's going to update the rest of the tabs which you'll see. So for example, let's say the second course was Math 140. So I type in Math 140, and we'll see how that changes a few things later on. This is so we can have a snapshot of the student's semester. On the first meeting that the student has with the coach, we'll go through and add all of this information, including a syllabus link, because we'll have our students upload all of their syllabi to our shared folder. We'll also put office hours in so that way we can encourage our students to attend office hours. You can think of this page as just, like I said, a snapshot of the semester. When we meet every single week with a student, we will then go over the course recap. This will have every week of the semester. We have this as a 16-week semester. Of course, we could add more weeks if you're at a university that has 18 weeks. We can cut some out if you're in a quarter system. But every single week, we want to go over and get a recap of each class. This helps in a couple of ways. One, it makes sure that the coach is following along and knows what's happening in each class. But it also is embedded in learning science, right? When we recall information, when we think about the stuff that we had been learning, we do that metacognition. We think about, okay, how are we paying attention to these classes? How are we thinking in these classes? It's going to help with our long-term learning and retention. So for each class, each week, we're going to say, okay, what did we go over in that class? What was confusing? Is there anything we need to know, etc. As we're going through this class, right, whatever Econ 102, Math 140, we will then add any items to do in the weekly to-do list. Our experience is that this is the most commonly used tab in the course organizer. It is coded in that you'll have clubs and personal items that you can put in here, but then also all of the courses. And you can go in and you can customize this as much as you would want. This is going to automatically update from that course info tab. What we'll want to do is pick whichever course that is. Let's say it's for Math 140. And if it's homework number 1, maybe it's due on Sunday. But what we believe is the most important part of this to-do list are columns D and E, because it's when you're going to start this assignment and then when you're hoping to complete the assignment. Because as you know, when it comes to college, a lot of the assignments may be due on Sunday, but we don't want to wait till Sunday to do everything, especially if you want to have your weekends free. So we're going to want to put dates. Maybe we'll do this on Tuesday, and then I'm going to take 2 days to do it, so then I'm going to complete it on Thursday. What we want to do for each one of our clients, for each one of our students, is make sure they have an entire week's worth of to-do list, so that way the following week when we meet with them, we can go over and see how close they came to completing everything. The big picture tab we'll use at the very beginning of the semester, where we'll go through each syllabus and we'll make sure we mark down when exams, projects, papers, presentations, anything big that we need to make sure that we are keeping an eye on. That way nothing sneaks up on us. If let's say in week 7, we have 2 midterms and we also have a presentation due, well, that means that maybe that weekend before, we want to turn down a couple of party invitations. And maybe about a week and a half before, we want to put some of those to-do list items that aren't showing up for another 10 to 12 days on the to-do list that week. So that way we stay on top of all of our work during the year. Again, our main goal as academic coaches is to help students with their executive functioning, their time management, so that way they have a smooth semester. We're not looking for a perfect semester, we're looking for a semester where we feel in control. This year, we added an attendance tracker. And the reason why we did this is we found that one of the pitfalls that many of our students fall into is that they're just not attending as many classes as they really want to. So this is going to be a visual way for them to see how many classes they've made it to and how many classes they've missed. Now, because we're unsure which class is a 3-time a week, maybe a 2 a week, or a 4-week class, this is going to have to be filled in manually by the student and or the coach. But let's say that this Math 140 class, which it usually is at Penn State, is a 4-week class. And all we're doing is week 1, how many classes did we go to? Maybe we missed a class, and we're just filling it out. It's pretty straightforward, but as we start to look at this when we get to week 6 or 7, we say, man, I'm not doing as well in my math class, but maybe it's because we're missing some classes, and then we can make some changes. Of course, if you're only taking one 4-week class, we should feel free to go ahead and just right-click and delete these rows. That way it'll be nice and clean. You'll only have your classes there. Something that's returning this semester, which we think went really well, is our tab on goals. So every single student that we meet with, we work on SMART goals with them. Not just academic goals. Yes, this is an academic coaching company and we care about academics, but we care about the student as a whole. So we'll go through and we'll talk about academic, as well as physical wellness, mental wellness, social, financial, professional, any other goals that the student might have for the semester. Perhaps they want to try and save $5,000 because they are going to study abroad next year. Okay, well, how are we going to attain that goal? Maybe they're hoping to join 2 or 3 social clubs and a professional club. Well, how can we, each week when we're meeting, help them meet that goal? We've updated our GPA calculator this semester, and so we'll go into Lion Path for those that are Penn State students. If you're not a Penn State student, I'm sure there are other ways that you can look up your information, but this is specific for a Penn State Lion Path, where you can look at the credits that you have for your GPA and your total to-date points, and that's going to fill out what your cumulative GPA is right now. And then we're going to have all of our classes, which again, these are coded in from course info. We got to put how many credits they are, and then if we put the letter grade, this is going to automatically calculate their semester GPA and their cumulative GPA. This is going to be important for students who are looking to maybe get into the engineering school or get into SMEAL and they have a GPA requirement. About halfway through the semester, it might be good to check in and see, okay, are we on path to get that GPA that we are looking for? Next, we have a grades and non-class specific notes tab. This is so we can keep track of the grades every single week and we can check with students to see if anything is slipping. And then we have a general notes that we'll just take as the overall session. What are things that we as coaches, what do we see that are maybe concerning? What are some wins that we want to celebrate? This is what we end up putting into our practice.do system, which is our system that we use to track all of our notes with all of our clients. That way they can be shared across coaches, shared with the parents, shared with the students. And last but not least, we have an assignment needs tab. This is just if we have a big assignment that we want to get done. Let's say it's a project. And so the class, let's say it's for Economics 104, and there's an end of the year presentation. What are all the different requirements? What's the estimated time of completion? And once we get it done, boom. Now, if you have multiple big projects due, you can take this tab and you can duplicate it. Then maybe you have multiple assignment needs that we have. So there you have it. That is our 2025 Fall Course Organizer. I am sure Kim and I will update this again next summer. We're trying to innovate every year, find things that work, find things that don't work. But for now, please feel free to download this if you are a student that wants to use it or a family that wants to introduce this to your student. If you are one of our current coaches, hopefully this helped you understand what each tab is going to be used for this semester. And of course, if you have questions, you can reach out to either Kim or I directly. And if you are a potential client or a potential student and you're just interested in learning more about how we can help this upcoming semester or future semester, you can just go ahead and shoot us an email, james@tierneyeducation.com or kim@tierneyeducation.com. And as always, you just go to our website, tierneyeducation.com. So there you have it. Hopefully you have a great semester, and we will see you soon.